Alrighty, so the two playing round is in the books, and first of all, I just want to say thank goodness neither of these games went to extra time because have one of these game went it into extra time, especially this game went to extra time, then I would have had to watch two games at once, and obviously want to avoid doing that in a playoff game, especially in these playing round as well. But if this game went to extra time as well, then this review will be much later uploaded on my channel than it should be. So thank goodness that neither of these game went to extra time. And one thing that we also see in both of these playing round is both of these eight seed were able to get the win and also get the free one win as well. It was an identical scoreline in both of these games. But if you watch both of these games, you would know that both of these games were completely different in terms of how we got to the free one scoreline. This was a complete domination in what we saw in this one. And this one was kind of nervy, at least for the team that eventually get the free one win. And you could maybe even say it was miraculous, the fact that they were able to get that third goal and that insurance goal to move on into the next round. So let us begin by talking about the first one, the Eastern Conference playing game between Chicago versus Orlando City. And yeah, I kind of feel like we all saw this coming. I mean, Orlando, they have just completely fell apart in this last month and a half. It's been an incredible bad run of form. Like, you know when things are bad, when you're losing to Toronto on decision day and gave up 4 goals against them. And in this game against a Chicago team that, while they haven't been that good this season at home, one of the interesting thing is that when they play at SeaTac Stadium this year in their old home in Bridgeville, they tends to do much better. So maybe they might think about not playing at Soldier Field for the rest of the playoffs. They might as well just kind of play at their old home. And I believe in their first round matchup against the Philadelphia Union, they're going to have to play at their old home again because the Bears, of course, are going to be playing over that weekend, and there's kind of a conflict schedule in terms of that. Because yeah, overall, I mean this was kind of expected. Chicago absolutely dominated this game, and really the only big question coming into this one is the fact that as the half goes along and as this one staying 0-0, the question is Chicago eventually gonna take advantage of these chances that they keep getting from Orlando? Well, the answer happened in the second half. Now, in the first half, not much really happened early, as definitely there was a feeling out period early in this one. The first shot of the game did see Gutierrez puts it over from long range in the 15th minute before Elliott heads it wide from the corner. Chicago started to take over this game and were looking for the opener. Galese denied Kuipers from close range in the 35th minute. The shots were 9-0 for Chicago up to this point. But again, the scoreline still red zero, and you might sense that there's kind of maybe some frustration started to grow through for Fire fan, and that this is also the first playoff game that the Chicago Fire has played in over 8 years. And as much as this season, I mentioned the way that they changed the narrative, and also Greg Berhalter had done a good job in terms of changing the culture. We'll see whether or not that, of course, is the case because of the way that they were missing chances, and this feels like a very Chicago Fire kind of moment, or I should say, a very certified Fire moment if they don't get this done, despite absolutely dominating Orlando in this one. Kuiper was in on goal here, but he missed one in the 38th minute before Galese denied Bomba from close range. Orlando definitely need halftime because whatever they were doing in this game, it was not working whatsoever. In fact, they pretty much have not showed up in this one. I mean, I understand that this is kind of what you usually see with Oscar Pereira team, especially on the road, where they're going to kind of sit deep a little bit. They're going to absorb some pressure and maybe nick a goal, but you can't really quite do that if you just kind of sit in your own half. And defensively, even when they were sitting in the deep block, they were still leaving so much gaping hole at the back, and giving up chances and good chances at will against this Fire team. So yeah, there was no doubt that they desperately need halftime to readjust. Though in the first minute of stoppage time, Schlegel did head it wide in the first minute of stoppage time, and that was the first shot for Orlando as well. Up to that point, they had not had a single shot in this one, but we do head to halftime with Chicago and Orlando tie at 0-0, and you're thinking, well, Orlando survived the storm. They're gonna make that adjustment, right? Right? Nope. In the 48th minute, the dam finally broke as Gutierrez would score from Dean and Zinchenko to give Chicago a 1-0 lead. Whatever Greg Berhalter said to his team definitely worked out. I have a feeling that he's probably telling his guys that, just keep doing what you need to do, but actually put the ball in the back net and show your clinical finishing. And boy, did that just three minutes in. And like I said, it's been coming. The pressure has been been taking a toll on this Orlando team. Eventually, it buckled, and that really kind of opened the floodgate a little bit. Because in the 51st minute, the post denied Gutierrez from close, and then Galese had to deny Bamba from close range. Chicago, they smell blood because right now they are carving this Orlando City defense at will. Really, ever since the beginning of the first half as well, and they're pressing hard to get that second. Angulo then hits it right to Brady, but then the 57th minute, Hugo Kuipers would score to make it 2-0 in favor of the Fire. Not only it was some ball watching defending once again from Orlando City, but just a comedy of error there by the Orlando defense. I mean, you can even cue the Benny Hill music here with a poor back pass, and then Galese just trying to get rid of it in that poor back pass, couldn't quite do so. In fact, it actually hits off of Kuipers and redirect toward goal. That feels like a very certified Fire moments in the past, and this season has been different for the Chicago Fire when those kind of goes in their favor, because I'm pretty sure Fire fans watching that and they're saying, man, in the past that's kind of the goals that we can see. And I mean, it definitely feel surreal, but also kind of feels a little relieved the fact that it's actually now happening in favor of them instead of going against them in those moments. But nevertheless, it was 2-0 in favor of Chicago. Vasilich did look to respond, but he was denied by Brady, and then Maguire would heads it right to Brady in the 62nd minute. As Orlando realized that, yeah, this is an elimination game. I mean, up to this point, they definitely didn't look like they were interested in terms of this elimination game. They were already thinking about Cancun for the first 60 minutes, but seems like they finally realized that, yeah, they better get their acts together because it's a pretty embarrassing performance that they put. They started to put some pressure and trying to grab one back. Galese would deny Bamba, but then it fell to Gutierrez, and he had an empty net here, and somehow, in some way, he struck the post. I think he kind of took this one a little bit too casual there, but nevertheless, Gutierrez, yeah, he would definitely want to have that one back. In fact, he could have had a hat trick in this one if it wasn't for the post deny him twice in the second half. Good news is, his teammate picked up the slack because in the 68th minute, guess who? It's Hugo Kuipers. He scored from Zickanago to make it 3-0 in favor of Chicago. Elliott did look for four, but he heads it wide there. I mean, it's pretty much lights out for Orlando City season. You could even argue it's probably lights out for Orlando season, even going back to the regular season as well, because they just look like down and now. They look like they were no interest in terms of fighting back late in this one. There was a shout for a penalty for Chicago not given. Zickanago would then hits it right to Galese before Ojeda puts it wide from long range. Up to this point, I didn't really pay too much attention to this one because I knew this one was long over. Ojeda would then puts one to Indiana in the 87th minute, but then in the 88th minute, Orlando does get one back as Tyrese Spicer would score for Marine to make it 3-1 in favor of Chicago, and I immediately wrote too little too late because I think what we saw in this game is a classic example of what gotta frustrate fans even more, the fact that, oh, now you're starting to show up. Oh, now when you're down for 3-0 and have nothing to play for, that you show up. That is probably just as frustrated as when you see a team that clearly has not showed up whatsoever in this game. Ojeda did struck the post, but wouldn't have counted either way because the flag went up. But yeah, in the end, just an absolute dominant performance. A very expected result in this one, with the Fire winning 3-1, and now are going to be going to play against the Philadelphia Union in the first round, which that could be a very interesting first round matchup. That could be a matchup that, I'm very tempting to pick Chicago to get the upset in this one. I mean, I know that sounds crazy to say, and that, surely we can't have 2 years in a row where the Supporter Shield winner get upset in the first round, right? But with the way how this Chicago team has been playing and with the momentum that they had, and Greg Berhalter has had history in terms of able to get a team deep into the playoffs. Yeah, something tells me this is a very dangerous team, and a team that, I don't want to use the word dark horse because every time I use the word dark horse, teams don't usually do well in the playoffs. But this is definitely a team that should, you should not treat this team as an 8 seed. This team does not play like it's an 8 seed. I think one thing I will say about the Fire is that if they can sort out their defense, which throughout this game not only they were able to do so, but pretty much their attack kind of dominate this game. But if they can sort out this defense, this is a team that can definitely go up against some of the better team in the East. I mean, this attack that Chicago has with the likes of Gutierrez, Bamba, and Kuipers. That is a very scary top three. That is a top three that I don't think a lot of people give them enough credit of how scary it is. And yeah, if they can play like this against Orlando, now again, granted, it's maybe because Orlando just kind of flat out gave up, and it's been kind of that way for the last month and a half. But still, this is a very impressive performance by the Chicago Fire, and this is also the first time that the Chicago Fire has won a playoff game in quite some while. They mentioned 2009 was the last time that the Chicago Fire has won a playoff game as well. In fact, they were the team that actually had the longest active streak in terms of not winning a playoff game. Guess which team now has that streak? Yeah, it's the San Jose Earthquakes, who hasn't won a playoff game since 2010. But the shots in this one, 25 shots for the 7 that Orlando has, 4 shots on goal for the 9 that Chicago has, 5 shots off target for the 2 that Orlando has, no shots on blocked for the 6 that Chicago has, and possession-wise, 52% possession compared to 48% possession that Orlando City has. And we'll definitely talk about what has went wrong for Orlando City once we get to them, talk about in the moving forward series. But there's definitely a lot of soul searching that has to do with this Orlando City side. I mean, the fact that this team about a month and a half ago, or a couple of months ago, were right up there in terms of at the top of the Eastern Conference, and they just come out of a huge 5-1 victory against Inter Miami. Hard to believe how much they have just self-destruct themselves ever since that moment. Now, moving on in terms of the next match, and a match that also ended 3-1, but this was kind of a bit of a surprise. I did not expect the Portland Timbers to have a good response in this one, and only grabbing their second win since the Leeds Cup break is over against RSL. I mean, keep in mind, RSL, they've been playing okay lately. They've been able to snuck into the playoffs, but in this game, I did not expect the Portland Timbers to play so well, especially in the first half. Now, in the second half, boy, it got very hairy for the Portland Timbers. I mean, this was them just going full row heave mode, and that, yeah, they were very lucky they escaped this one, because RSL, man, they were putting tons of pressure in the second half, and probably could have got the equalizer if it wasn't for the Timbers eventually scoring a goal completely against the run of plays and change the playing game. Now, in the first half, Ayala would have a shot that was high, as that was the game's first shot. The Timbers actually got off to a stronger start in this one, and I have a feeling this was going to be the case because, for Phil Neville, I think the message for his team is they cannot get off to a slow start in this one. They cannot not do what they did against San Diego, and simply cannot do what they did last year as well. Last year, they got off to a slow start against Vancouver, and it basically snowballed after that. So the message obviously is that they have to start strong. They have to kind of dictate the play, even though that's not something that you usually see the Timbers likes to do. They likes to play on the counter, but just simply having the ball and control the game, that is a big priority, and they definitely did that in the first 25 or even 40 minutes into this one. There was a shout for a handball in the box not given. Ajala would then heads it wide as the flag went up. But then the 24th minute, Timbers take a 1-0 lead. It's Felipe Mora, and I didn't even realize the fact that he was in an ultra goal drought. But they mentioned the fact that he was on a 23 game goalless drought coming into this one. That finally came to an end in this one as he scored or here to make it 1-0 in favor of the Timbers. The finish that he did, you would have not guessed it that he went on a 23 game goalless drought. I mean, I know it's been a rough season for Felipe Mora. He has definitely not live up to his potential that we thought he was a couple of years ago, but nevertheless, that not only is a huge relief for him, but a huge relief for the Portland Timbers fans, because it was just so important in this game that they need to score first and really dictate the play, not just because of the bad run of form that they had, but if they give up a goal early in this one against RSL, you just kind of had sense that that deja vu feeling of last year in the playing round against Vancouver is gonna come right at them. Olatunji did look to answer, but he missed wide in the 28th minute before Gonzalez puts it over from close range. I thought it was a good response for RSL, tried to get themselves into this game, but in the 36th minute, guess who? It's Felipe Mora again. So again, the old saying goes, when you finally break a goalless drought and you finally score your first goal in such a long time, especially when you're a number 9, it not only feels like it's a huge wave off of your shoulder, but all of a sudden the goal feels like it's bigger again than it is, and you can clearly see the confidence is definitely there with it taking the strike, and just like that, Timbers were up 2-0 in this one. I definitely didn't see this coming, especially with the way how they've been playing lately. But then 3 minutes later, then we kind of remind, yeah, there's a reason why this Timbers team haven't been playing well because they give up a goal pretty quickly after going 2-0 up. It's Justin Glad scoring from Gonzalez, another guy that hasn't scored in quite some while. In fact, it's the first goal that he's scored this season. He used to score a lot more goals as a defender, not so much lately, but he did score his first here from Gonzalez to make it 2-1 in favor of the Timbers, and yeah, just horrendous marking there from the Portland Timbers. Nobody marked Justin Glad in the ball. It's like that, and we know how dangerous he is in the air as well. So yeah, that was pretty much easy for him to put that one in, and just like that, it's 2-1 in this game, and that would be the scoreline heading in the second half. And little do we know, that goal really changed the momentum in this one because this is when RSL really just kind of took over this game in the second half. Not only having most of the possession to start this game, but early on they did kind of struggle at least creating some chances. That would quickly change because in the 54th minute, Gozo actually put it into the back of net. Problem was he was offside, and it was actually free RSL player was in an offside position there. So even if one of those two players besides Gozo touch it, it wouldn't have counted. This would have stayed at 2-1. I felt the Timbers were sitting way too deep. I understand that they want to do that because this is kind of something that they usually do when they're trying to protect the lead. But yeah, I just feel like they're sitting a little bit too deep, even if they're trying to look for those dangerous transition. Though Cabral did deny DaCosta on the curler before Olatunji missed wide from long range, and then Pantemis denying Yetland from close in the 62nd minute. Pantemis has kind of been a forgotten man lately because there's been a revolving door that is going on in the Timbers goalkeeping spot. It's either Pantemis or Crepo in this ball. There was a discussion: is it going to be Pantemis? Is it going to be Crepo? Well, Pantemis is giving the chance, and he's definitely proving why he deserved to be in this game and kind of pay back in terms of Phil Neville belief that he's the right goalkeeper for this one because he had a huge game, especially in the second half. First denying Yetland from close, but you just kind of had a sense RSL was coming. The Timbers, they were clearly on the ropes up to this point. And in the 63rd minute, Pantemis would deny Imali from close. And then he denied Agata in the 69th minute as the flag went up. Portland is in row heave mode right now. And again, anytime when you're in row heave mode and you're giving up chances after chances, like they're giving up, this usually does not go so well. Agata overhit kick would then struck the post in the 73rd minute, but then in the 76th minute, Brian Vera would score. Or did he? Because the whistle was gone because there was a foul in the box, and it was the right call. I think it was wrong. Ruiz, the one that was called a foul. He was trying to kind of push the walls away. Now, if he didn't do that, I don't know. Like the strike from Vera, that was hit so cleanly that there was really no need for Ron Cruz to kind of disrupt the wall there. I think even if he didn't disrupt the wall there, the wall wouldn't have any chance in terms of dealing with that shot from Brian Vera there. So yeah, big mistake there from Ron Cruz, and really just turns out to be a season-ending mistake too because of how this game ended. But you can definitely hear the nervy energy inside Providence Park. And again, this is a thing that we've seen this happen with the Timbers before. Not as much as this year that is, but in previous year I've always kind of beat the dead horse about the Timbers giving up late goals, especially at home. And I'm pretty sure those fans maybe have PTSD of that too, because right now RSL is just pounding to get the equalizer. Though Cabral did deny Valde on a rare opportunity for the Timbers in the second half. I mean, for the most part, they would just kind of sitting deep in their second half. But then in the 82nd minute, really just completely against the run of play, something that I don't think even Timbers fan would have expected this to happen. But Kamal Miller would score the third goal of this game from Lassiter to make it 3-1 in favor of the Timbers. Pantemis then denied Luna from close before Agata puts it high from close range. RSL did still continue to put some late pressure, but in the end, the Portland Timbers somehow, in some way, survive and get the 3-1 win in this one, and show that for once, Rohivo does sometimes worked out for a team. Shots in this one: 23 shots created, 11 that the Timbers had, 8 shots on goal created, 7 that RSL had, 6 shots off target with a 1 that the Timbers had, 1 shot that was blocked with a 7 that RSL had, and possession wise, 52% possession compared to 48% possession that the Portland Timbers had. With this win, guess who the Portland Timbers is going to be playing in the first round? Yeah, it's that team that they lost 4-0 in decision day. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure they'll make some adjustment compared to what we saw in that game. Usually, when we see a matchup that's going to happen in the first round of the playoffs that happened on decision day as well, you're going to assume that coaches are going to make the adjustment. I don't think we're going to see a situation where the Timbers are going to get absolutely throttled by San Diego like what we saw on decision day. But yeah, that is not going to be an easy task, and especially I do think that they got away with one here, especially how they play in the second half. They cannot do that against San Diego. They simply cannot do that against a much better team, because much better their team, and really kind of 9 out of 10 times when the Timbers are trying to do the way that they try to close out the games, it just doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, and in a play in round like this, especially in a single elimination like that, even though it wasn't pretty, they'll take it, especially of how things have gone for this team. And that, as I said, between them and Orlando, I thought it was pretty easy that they were in CU next season mode, even they're into the playoffs, or I should say, thanks for coming in terms of making a brief playoff appearance. But the Timbers, they soldier on to the next round. And for RSL, yeah, I thought they were going to do something they did in 2021. I really thought that they were maybe gonna make a bit of a run. And to be fair, they fought hard in this game, especially in the second half. They put tons of pressure, but again, they just ran to a hot goalkeeper in Pantemes, and the fact that Ruan Cruz, he's probably one of the most hated man right now in RSL. And another example of, once again, RSL, this is a team that the last couple of years, these signings that they made has just not gone well whatsoever. And we'll talk more about that once we get to their part of the moving forward series. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button. Tomorrow, I of course will be filling out the bracket. I'll also be doing the video looking back at my Western Conference and Eastern Conference prediction, because I think I'm a little too tired now to do another one of the video, especially the fact that I did go out for a majority of the day, that is. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.